Sounds good.
Sir.
Education.
Okay.
I don't email, I like them.
Yeah, a verbal like that, so. All right, I have us at 2 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started and call this commission meeting to order for Tuesday, February 3rd at 2 p.m. We'll start with a roll call. Chris?
Thank you, sir. Roll call, Commissioner Baugh. Not present. Commissioner Hall.
Here.
Commissioner Michelina.
Here.
Commissioner, Chairman Rigsby.
Here.
Commissioner Byers.
Here.
Commissioner Williams. Not present. There's someone in the waiting room, Lynn Crawford. I'll let him in. And Commissioner Richardson, also not present.
Yep. And we have a quorum, just barely, right? Four.
So 4 is the quorum.
Yep, okay. Sounds good. So we have a quorum. At this time, we'll see if there's any conflict of interest for the members of the board.
No conflicts.
None.
None here. Okay, sounds good. We'll move on to the next item, which is certification of compliance with Resolution 2026-01. Alex?
Chairman, I will confirm that this meeting has been advertised in compliance with Resolution 2026-01.
Okay, thank you. Sounds good. Let's move to the next item, approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda for Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, let's move to a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Chairman Rigsby.
Yes.
Commissioner Michelina.
Yes.
And Commissioner Byers.
Aye.
All right, sweet. Motion carries. We have an agenda. The first items on our agenda are the approval of minutes, starting with our regular meeting, December 2nd, 2025. This was included because there was a change from our prior meeting. Did we get it corrected?
I don't know, did we?
So yes, sir, we did, and it is included in the full packet, and I do have a copy here as well.
I had your name wrong.
Then I move that we approve the minutes for December 2nd, 2025.
Got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Got two motions. All those in favor, why don't we go ahead and do a roll call vote if there's no discussion?
Roll call, Commissioner Hall.
Aye.
Commissioner Michelina.
Aye.
Chairman Rigsby.
Aye.
And Commissioner Byers.
Aye.
All right, that approves December 2nd meeting minutes. Let's go to regular meeting, January 8th.
I make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from January 8th, 2026.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's move to a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Commissioner Hall.
Aye.
Commissioner Michelina.
Aye.
Chairman Rigsby.
Aye.
Commissioner Byers.
Aye.
All right, motion carries then, and we have minutes passed. Let's go to the next item, which is our public input. For those that are here in the audience, this is an opportunity for you all to bring something to this commission that's not on the meeting agenda as of today. So if you're here for a specific item, you'll get your opportunity to come in front of the commission and provide your 2 cents. But this is for any non-agenda item. We want to hear from the community or ways that we can help. So at this time, we'll open it up to comment. Don, come on down. If you'll just state your name for the record, that would be great. Thank you.
I'd like to go ahead and read my comments if I could.
Of course.
Okay. My name is Dawn McGlasson. I'm here today to talk about process, accountability, and follow-through, specifically regarding the long-standing blighted property at 116 Nogale Place. Last month, I appeared before this committee to address 100 Nogale Place, another blighted property that reflects a pattern of prolonged neglect. And over the past 3 years, I've come before this body multiple occasions regarding both 116 and 100 Nogales Place, but today I want to focus on 116 Nogales Place. And I've repeatedly raised the same concerns about the deteriorated condition of the property, the health and safety risks it poses, and its failure to meet community standards. It's my understanding that there's been repeated inquiries and non-compliance notices that have been issued and ignored, and no meaningful follow-up or enforcement has occurred. And during this time, I've made numerous calls, I've sent emails, I've left voice messages for code enforcement Robert Simpson when he was employed by the village, for the previous deputy city manager Michael Martinez, and then recently to Alex Koenig, the community development director. So I've requested updates, documentation, and clarification of enforcement actions. I've also submitted a request for IPRA, the inspection of public records, and I'm seeking a record of all my communications with these officials regarding this property. The owners, which I believe is the Yates Trust, has been directed by Mr. Koenig to apply for a vacant property permit as a proposed solution. The property's been vacant for many years, possibly up to 10 years, and it's just been allowed to deteriorate significantly. It's become a habitat for skunks, raccoons, other vermin. It's an ongoing health and safety concern for the surrounding neighborhood. I spoke with a local contractor who was hired by the owners to inspect the property, and he informed me that nearly every component of the structure would require replacement. The roof, plumbing, electrical, flooring, drywall, HVAC system, siding, windows, doors, deck, railings, fencing, foundation issues, and infestation remediation. His professional opinion was that the structure either needed to be demolished or would require an investment far exceeding its value to restore. And despite these conditions, there's been no measurable progress, no clear timelines, and no documented enforcement outcomes that would bring this property into community standards. So recently, I submitted specific written questions to Mr. Koenig requesting details regarding the enforcement actions taken, inspection documentation, timelines, and next steps. And I still would like to have answered what enforcement actions, if any, have occurred to date, any inspection reports, including building inspections, property condition assessments, safety evaluations, or code enforcement records, and I submitted that as an IPRA request. What concerns me most is not only the condition of the property, but the pattern it represents, repeated inquiries, repeated appearances before this committee, and repeated acknowledgements, yet no documented resolution or enforcement over a 3-year period. So I'm not here to simply restate the problems. I'm here to ask this committee to require some accountability, transparency, and follow-up. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. I appreciate the comments. Other comments? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close public input and move to our quasi-judicial public hearings. The first one we have is easement vacation approval, EV 2026-01. Alex or Chris, what can you tell us about this application?
Thank you. First, I'd like to ask if it's okay to verify that the representatives or agents are present for this easement case.
Come on down, Mark. Yeah.
Excellent.
I assume you're representing yourself on this one.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, thank you. So this is an easement vacation request for properties 110 Tennis Courts, 111 Tennis Courts, and 106 Scenic Drive. The applicants, Charles and Brenda Terry, as well as Mark and Jolie Foster, are requesting to vacate a portion of a utility easement with the pending replat other properties of at the locations just stated. You'll see in the packet there is our copies of the proposed replat with some details showing on page 21, page 20 and 21, highlighted on page 20 is the portion of the utility easement that is requested to be vacated by the moving of the lot lines. So there are three lots currently as the subject properties. They will remain three separate lots. What is changing is the location of the lot line that separates the three lots. We do have a representative with the utility department, Assistant Director Josh Long, and in a moment, would like him to come up and state his opinions and findings on this as well. But according to Levi Beatty and others in the utilities department, the portion of the utility easement that is requesting to be vacated does not have any existing utilities. And actually, the utilities that are being servicing the properties run along the private driveway, which is found on page 21, which currently there is no found utility easement. So the Village of Ruidoso is requesting, as part of a condition, for the surveyors to be able to write and record a utility easement for the Village of Ruidoso utilities on the driveway.
Okay. Thanks, Chris, for that overview. Mark, we'll get you sworn in. If you'll raise your right hand, state your name, and say you'll tell the truth.
Mark Foster, tell the truth.
Thank you, sir. Tell us if you can, if there's any more context to add that Chris didn't go through about what you're looking to do.
Well, we didn't even know it was there, and then
Yeah.
me and my neighbor were swapping land, and then we had to get a new survey done, and then he's the one that said, you might as well just get it removed, there's no reason for it. And so the utilities come up the road, and so that's where the easement needs to be.
Okay.
And, I don't know, it goes straight up a hill, so I don't know. My neighbor and me, neither one of them knew it was there, but we're just wanting to get it cleaned up while we can.
Yep. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, Chris, for your information. At this time, we generally open it up for public input. If people are for or against this item, or if they have a comment or a question, we usually open it up at this time. You'll have the chance to rebuttal or state your piece again, just as an update on process. So this time, if anybody has anything they want to say on this item, we'll invite you to come on down. If not, we'll close public input and move to commissioner questions. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant himself or for the staff?
I guess the only question I would have, are you satisfied with the recommendations or conditions that they've put on for the easement to allow all the utilities in?
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay. Josh, does that work for you?
Yes, sir, as long as they agree to letting us in there and be able to get to the water lines and the utilities.
Yeah, that is stated in the conditions. They have to provide you access and keys. Okay. That's all I had.
And for the record, if it wasn't heard, Josh from Streets Department said that they would consent essentially, right? To
Yes, sir.
the other easement as updated. Ron, you got any questions?
No, I'm good with it.
I'm good.
Okay. If there are no other questions for the applicant, I think that this was laid out pretty straightforward. Thanks for that overview, and Chris, for yours. I would entertain a motion if there.
Based on the foregoing findings of fact per 54-69 and 54-102 of the Village Code, I move to recommend approval by the Planning Commission to recommend the Village Council to authorize the vacation request for case EV-2026-01 with the conditions stated in the case report.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to a roll call vote.
Roll call votes. Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner Vicolina,
Aye.
Chairman Rigsby,
Aye.
Chairman Byers.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks. I think they have some paperwork for you to sign, but this is just a recommendation to council. So you still got to go in front of council to get their final stamp of approval. But thank you.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it. All right, let's move to the next item that we have on our agenda, which is another easement vacation approval, EV 2026-03. Chris, just a high-level overview on this, and then we'll get your questions afterwards, or the statements from staff.
So this is an easement vacation request also. Dennis Rich, on behalf of Jason and Julie Lawrence, is requesting to vacate easements within the plat, with the pending replat of properties located at 47 Warwick Drive of the Camelot Mountain Tracks.
Thank you. Is the applicant here, or the representative of the applicant? Okay. Seeing nobody to advocate or apply, in the past, we've tabled these motions to the next meeting.
I make a motion, we table this to the next meeting.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Just as a question for staff, we do call the applicants ahead of time, right?
Yes, we
To
do.
confirm, or their representative? Okay. Thank you. We got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
No.
We'll move to a roll call vote then.
Roll call vote, Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelina,
Aye.
Chairman Rigsby,
Aye.
and Commissioner Byers.
Aye.
Sounds good. Motion carries. That'll be tabled to the next meeting. Hopefully, one of their representatives will come. The next item, I believe we skipped over this for staff, variance approval, PV 2026-02.
That is correct, sir. We did not receive the full application in time for the staff to review that prior to the meeting.
Okay. With that publicly stated, I do still think we need a motion to table, since we don't have it, but we need a quick motion to table that one.
I'll make a motion to table the variance approval case dash number PV 2026-02.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Seeing none, we'll move to a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Michelina,
Aye.
Chairman Rigsby,
Aye.
Commissioner Byers.
Aye.
Motion carries. That's tabled to the next meeting. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some more information on that. All right, the final quasi-judicial hearing that we're going to listen to today, an appeal of an administration determination. Chris and Diana Goff, are the applicants here? Okay. We'll have staff, could you just give us a little overview about this, and then we'll hear directly from the applicants.
Thank you, Chairman. This is an appeal of an administrative determination regarding whether or not a short-term rental may be operated at 110 Horton Circle. This is based upon the staff interpretation of Chapter 5472 in regard to whether or not a short-term rental may be operated at a place that has a commercial use as the primary use.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. Hi, folks. We'll get you sworn in. If you'll raise your right hand, state your name, and then say you'll tell the truth, nothing but the truth. We'll start from right to left, if that's okay.
Chris Goff, I swear to tell the truth.
Thank you, sir.
Diana Goff, swear to tell the truth.
Thank you.
Amanda Thomason, I swear to tell the truth.
Okay, thank you. So tell us a little bit about what brought you here today.
We've been at this property since August of 22, 21. 22, 21, I can't remember anyway.
3 years.
It's a residential home that we converted into a duplex that also has 10 storage units in the backside of the property. Over the last 3 years of operation, we've been utilizing it as short-term rentals. And the primary income is from the short-term rentals. It is not a a primary storage unit type business. There is income from it, but the primary income has been the short-term rental from it.
Okay. And you're here to appeal the administrative decision so that you can
We
continue?
do want to appeal the administration's decision to go ahead and make this a dual-use type residential property. So we can have short-term rentals in it too.
Okay. Thank you for that. We'll move to public input, so if folks have comments on this, we'll move into that. And then,
One quick thing.
Yep.
The potential buyer for the property, because this is the reason why we're here,
Yeah.
is seated behind us right now. So he
Okay.
may or may not have questions for you,
okay,
Antonio.
sounds good. We'll open it up to public input at this time.
I don't know if I'm considered public input, but.
She's here representing us.
Yeah, if you're representing, Amanda, we'll get you when because I think we'll have some questions for you all and the staff, and it'll be,
Sure.
you'll have your chance to say your piece. But this is for anybody not directly related, if you will. And seeing none, we'll go ahead and close public input. We'll move to staff considerations, and then we'll go to commissioner questions, and then we'll be able to talk through. So, Alex, anything else that you'd want to add from staff's determination? I know that y'all have already evaluated this, but anything that's not in the packet?
No, sir. There would be nothing additional that we feel that we would need to add. Just that, again, that we are reading the code in the language that is provided in there. And so that is where we came up with our interpretation, based upon the language in the code, that regardless of what the zoning for a particular property would be, but the short-term rental overlay applies to non-commercial residential property. And so, as I stated earlier, the understanding that we had of the use of that property was that the primary use of that property was for the business use of the storage units.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll open it up to commissioner questions or comments for the applicants, for staff. Anything from you all?
I guess my question would be more for the staff. As I understand it, the challenge here is the commercial storage units on a residential tract. That is not, whether it was this tract or any tract, you're not allowed to run commercial units on a residentially zoned lot. Am I correct in that?
Could you, I'm sorry, could you rephrase that? I'm sorry.
It looks to be, as I said, you've got two uses on the property that they're wanting to do. One that's residential, where it's zoned residential, and the commercial aspect of the storage units. So
The general rule is that commercial is not allowed in residential. That's why we have commercial zones. However, this lot has historically been used for commercial. It says that that's the primary use, but I don't know how that determination was made.
Yeah.
They've been using it as kind of mixed.
But
It's one of the anomalies.
short-term rental, as I understand it, it goes for residential uses. If you got residential and commercial,
Right.
does not, that's.
STRs are overlaid over the residential zone,
Over
which
the
this is in.
residential zones. I
And
guess,
and overlay for anything that's registered R1 or M1, not C1, C2, C3. That's
Correct.
primarily,
And this is R1, I believe.
it is
Yes.
overlaid as R1, right, yeah.
I guess as I looked at it in some of the packet, there was at some point in time, one of the maps or whatever overly actually showed a portion of the property was, I don't know if it was when it was combined, but it showed two different addresses, one at 110 and one at 114.
Correct.
So my question is, the portion that was at 114, if that was the storage units, when was that combined? And why wouldn't that just simply be separated out as a C1? I mean, you could do it with an easement through the R1 and there's no problem. You rezone that as, that portion of it as C1 and put an easement through it. And, then the uses are compatible and you're not trying to deal with two uses on one property that's zoned for residential, not zoned for.
Who's the question for, me or Alex?
Anybody that,
Well, it'd be for you. I mean, why did you consider that or not consider that or?
This is,
Wasn't it?
the problem that I fell back on is when the village readdressed everything on that road. The property's never changed. It's always been there. The storage unit's always been on the same lot. There's never been two lots. From our research, that we've went back to 1950, whatever, it's never been, in 1947, it's never been two lots. It is one consecutive lot from Horton to Walnut.
To Walnut.
The
Chairman?
actual, I'm sorry.
My understanding is there are two addresses because of when they did the 9/11 change, but it's still only one lot.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
That's what
he
the-
is
that's
correct.
what
He
that-
is correct. It
okay.
is one lot.
Thank you.
The address was changed during for the emergency services, right? There you go. Okay.
So when did it become a short-term rental?
3 years ago.
August of '22.
When you guys purchased the property.
When we
it became a
purchased the
short-term
And that's
property.
why we purchased
And the storage units have been there since you purchased
I
the
believe the
property?
storage units have been there, don't quote me, but 18?
They were built in 2018, or,
I think 18, or that may have been when it was changed to R1.
okay.
Remember the date?
I
I
don't.
have it in here.
Oh, trust me, it's there.
I'm sure it is. I'm
Yes,
sure it
sir.
is. Some of these
So,
things, you
girl.
gotta read like Old English writing for some of the old properties, and it gets crazy.
Right, yes.
Bart, you have a question?
Well, I'm confused. It's zoned R1, right?
Yep,
No. Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
it's zoned R1.
And nightly rentals allowed in R1,
Thank you, sir.
right?
But it's the commercial, it's the storage units on the same.
That's not what this is about, though. It's operating a nightly rental on R1. It's not about the commercial aspect. It's not, that's not the way I'm reading it.
But that was the reason for the denial, was that there are two uses there.
But that's, the commercial side of it is pre-existing, and that's another animal.
Yeah.
Whether it's zoned R1, and it's allowed according to the zoning and the ordinances.
It's,
Now, whether you want to argue that the rental units or the storage units should be shut down, that's another animal altogether. But as far as I can see, they're in compliance with the way the ordinance reads. Are they not?
I mean, they've been approved 3 years up until, or 4 years if you bought it in '22.
We have never had a rental license issued for this property.
So this was one of those unlicensed properties?
Technically, no. I came in to get the business license in the normal area where you go. Asked the front office about doing the short term. At the same time, I applied for the business license for the storage unit use and was told at that time, it's a residential use. You don't need a permit to do STR. That was from your front desk 3 years ago.
Yeah. That might be the case,
And that's
one of
exactly
those
why
things,
we
yeah.
started this process back in July with Michael Martinez.
Yeah.
And his exact words to me, let me and my team get hold of you, get back to you on this.
Okay.
Where's Michael?
Yeah. Sadly, he took a new job.
We know.
We got crickets.
Okay, well, I
But yes, we were
apologize for
put on
that. that
ignore
you're
for
doing-
6 months.
I apologize, that's unacceptable, that you should hear back. And so the process was, this would be the first time that you're getting a short-term rental?
Yes, sir, when we were notified by the front desk or from Alex's office that
Okay.
we needed to get the permit, have the inspections done, we went in and did all the work that was required for the STR, asked for the inspection, and that's when we were told, no mas.
Gotcha.
Until we
Spoke to
could
Christy
determine,
Jones.
until we could come,
Before
work with
us.
Alex and the commission and everything else. So now we're on month 7 or 8.
Yeah, okay. A question for staff and, or you guys, you might have this information. Was there permits pulled for the storage? Do we have that information? Those are the.
Yes, so that was done based upon, I think, what we saw in our records and also what you provided.
Correct.
I believe 1996.
96.
Is when.
96,
Sorry,
okay, I was like,
just off.
2018 is a red flag, because
Yes.
that should have
Yes.
been a.
I'm sorry, it was 96, yes, it took me a minute.
Yeah, I probably do.
Poor gal.
I don't recall offhand who was the builder
Okay.
of
Who
that.
was the owner? Yeah.
So a bit of history that the commission may be aware of is this was previously a sign shop where the operator lived at the property, as well as operated his sign shop.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it was a dual purpose.
Yes, it has been, yeah.
Okay, I know the one we're talking about.
It was a question.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
It's more or less it's more for the staff. What made this question even come up? I mean, obviously, they've been operating for a while. Did the zoning change? What was it? I mean, obviously, somebody made the decision that all of a sudden they weren't going to allow the STRs.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know how it came to Alex and his department.
Yeah.
But Alex and I discussed it, and the denial was based on a strict reading and interpretation of the ordinance. I recommended to Alex that he not use his discretion to allow it, but to interpret the ordinance the way it's written and to bring it to you guys to sort through the issues. This is one of those anomalies that we occasionally run into in Rideau, so, but the fact is, it's in R1.
Yeah.
So I guess the question for me, Zach, is if the R1 overrides it, did we set a bad precedent letting commercial operations, which should be like C1 or C2, operate on an R1 zoning?
I don't think you set any binding precedent if you were to overturn the denial. You're just going to have to look, if future cases come, at the facts of those cases.
It was EJ Signs at one time, yeah.
Correct.
The neighbor to the right of this property is zone C1, and
Yeah.
it's residential, and he is running short-term rental.
He was invited here today too as
Yes.
well.
That's a separate problem.
Well, I'm just saying,
He called me because of this meeting. He was invited here.
Okay.
And I feel like at one time, this property was C1. I've looked at the old MLS sheets. When Jenny Dorgan represented it, she was working for Stevens Real Estate. That was David Stevens. So there was a lot of C1 that was conveyed when they purchased it as C1.
Conveyed,
Yeah.
yes, not actual.
Thanks for that, Amanda. Yeah, the overlay for short-term rentals, just, I think everybody is just for R1, M1, residential use.
So this votes the question.
I need to clarify that because this is specifically to 5472 letter B. And the overlay zone applies to all non-commercial residential property within the village regardless of zoning district. So we do not restrict it to the residential districts in there. So also addressing the commercial use, that is strictly a residential use on the neighboring property with that. So that's why that is allowed to operate as a short-term rental on the neighboring property. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Maybe we need
And so
to
the-
have
the-
another discussion on that, Alex,
Yeah.
because that's not what we've been focused on to date, but I don't
Yeah, I
want to
don't wanna
muddy
focus on the
there.
neighbor.
Which is also why,
conversation.
that's why I'm, you know, as Zach stated, why we're bringing this to you for your sorting, to sort this out in that regard. Because this is one of those pieces where it falls perhaps between the cracks, in not specifically in a gray area between the black and the white. And so where, again, making the read on this, that the zoning district is not necessarily a qualifier or a disqualifier toward whether or not a short-term rental could be allowed at a particular property. And then also to clarify the question, this is not have anything to do with the operation, continued operation of the storage units. That is a non-conforming use that is continued in use. Really, the only, the item that we as the staff weighed in on is stating that based upon the language in the code and the information that was available to us, the use of the property appeared to be commercial and not as a residential use primarily. And so that is why we made the determination that we did, stating that a short-term rental could.
So it boils down to, you have a property in an R1 zone that appears to be operating as a commercial enterprise that was permitted in 1996, but is still in an R1 where STRs are allowed.
Correct.
That permitted use of non-conforming hasn't changed, though. There's been no break in use. So like, there's been, in the past, exceptions to rules because they've been around for a while. And so in my opinion, the storage unit is a moot point of certain extent because it's been there
Yeah.
as a non-conforming use.
Correct.
And so then it comes down to, is it in the appropriate zoning map, in my opinion? And I understand the language that you're saying, Alex, where it's non-commercial residential use, but we base that off historically, we base that off the map. Because there's been instances where there's been just a normal house or cabin in C1 that we've not allowed short-term rental use because it's not in the overlay district in the past.
Right.
That's how I've interpreted it in the past. I don't
And
like,
that's the way, yeah,
and we've done it primarily on the map.
right.
Yeah.
That one up on Sudworth across from,
Yeah, there's probably 5 or 6 since I've been on the
Yeah.
board where we've not allowed,
Where they were
because they were
commercial.
in commercial.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different animal, but it is zoned R1.
Right.
That is correct.
And so that's what I come back to. There might be a non-conforming use that makes it commercial.
And
but
that's what confuses,
That's
that's what confuses.
in the past, though, because this is just, I guess my comments, not necessarily questions.
So,
for
so
staff.
I guess the question for staff, if that non-conforming use has been there since 96, how did you deem the rest of it commercial? Because it's zoned
Yeah.
R1. That's my question.
And I think, so I'll clarify that again. What we determined is the primary use of the property, based upon the information that we had, is the primary use of the property was for commercial uses. And so, and then with the self-storage use, regardless of whether it was allowed under the current code or non-conforming. Again, in the reading of 5472B, that is the only portion of the code that we were,
Concerned.
that we're focused on.
And that language is 5472B.
But that's where I'm getting back to if the storage units, so the storage units are what's determining that, or is the fact that it's a short-term rental determining that it's commercial? You said the primary
Yeah.
use is commercial, so that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around.
Previously, we've used the zoning map to determine primary commercial or not. I mean, I have 2 businesses that are addressed at my house, and I work remotely at my house. All my income comes from my house, even though they're coming from different entities. Like, I've used this example in the past because it can split hairs. But I'm in R1, and so that's what we base it off of. I live in a residential property. And maybe that's totally apples to oranges because there's physical buildings at this property. But we use the overlay zone in the map for non-commercial residential property based off the zoning map, not determination.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. How did you determine it was commercial primary use?
Based upon the business registration that we had on the property, which was strictly for, and I understand what you've said when you came in prior to my being here, that the initial registration, and it currently reads that way, that it's specifically just for the storage units on the property. As you can also, yeah.
Well, that gets back to my point. It seemed like it'd just be, even though it's it's split it out and rezone it, because you've got other C1 on the other side of Walnut, according to the map. Call it C1 and leave R1 where it's at for the apartments or short-term rentals, and it's not a problem, and everything's compliant.
The only problem is there's only 25 foot between the two buildings.
Just an easement,
As
as long as I have an easement to get back
Yeah,
to
but
it.
that's also not the question presented to
Yeah,
us.
that's not what I want to go with. And that's why I like what Alex has prepared on page 45 for y'all to consider. So if you want to look at page 45,
I think
I'd just rather get to the nut cut here.
oh, just the motion, yeah.
Yeah, it's a motion
Yeah,
that they
some-
prepared, they kind of agree on.
so some context, they provide language for the
Correct.
motion, so that way we know
That
what
way
to
you
say,
know.
and then we vote on the issue, so.
If I may, so the specific section of the ordinance is on page 76 of the
Yeah, I
packet,
was just looking at it.
Yeah.
so that everybody can see the language, and if I need to walk through how we came to our determination, I will be glad to do so.
Yeah, the language you keep referring back to is non-commercial residential property within the village limits, correct? 5472B. Right. And so the question from Bill is, how do you determine non-commercial residential property use? And your point is it's because they came and applied for a business permit, but in the past, we've done it based off the zoning map to determine use. And I think that that's the rub.
It is. If you're going out to buy a piece of property, you look at the zoning and see what's allowed.
Yeah.
And that's what you base your determination of whether you want to buy this or not. And
Because even if, an example, nobody cares about the storage units or nobody cares about the property that's currently there, I can go buy this physical land from them, clear cut the whole thing to the ground and put a cabin there, and I can do short-term rentals without ever having to come to you all besides permitting.
Correct.
Exactly.
Because the
Right.
R1 zoning allows me to do that. And they have a conforming use that goes back and predates the
Correct.
short-term overlay
It
district.
is grandfather.
Or that's grand, yeah.
So that's the timing of it. When was the overlay? That was 2018, wasn't it?
For short-term rentals, 2016?
16, okay.
I don't know. Ron, you got any other questions or thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if that was a non-conforming use and it was okayed, okay? I'm taking that the home and the STRs were still R1,
Yeah.
but they have the non-conforming use in the back. I don't see any changes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to go back and start wondering why they did it that way back in 1996. The thing is, everyone has been living with it this way, and I don't know. I think that it should be allowed to go as is. If it's still designated as R1 with a non-conforming use, then everybody wins.
Is that a motion there, Ron?
Sure, you want me to read it?
Unless there's other discussion or thoughts, guys.
No, I don't have any of it.
Give me just a second here.
It's on page 87.
Page 87?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I'm almost there. Okay. Based upon the foregoing findings of fact for 54-69, 54-72, and 54-93 of the Village Code, I move to approve the requested appeal, reversing the administration determination and allowing the permitting of short-term rental operations at 110 Horton Circle, Ruidoso, New Mexico, with the conditions stated in the case report.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion on the motion. So I guess for me, there's not any conditions, I don't think I saw.
Would there be any conditions, if the property was sold, is it still transferable to a new property owner?
Yeah, I mean,
Once it's recorded, it should be transferable, correct? It's not one-time use for me.
That's a legal question. I don't have.
It is,
It is?
yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Zach.
so there are currently no conditions.
Yeah, I didn't see any.
Case report, so are we comfortable with that, or is there anything
Yeah.
else?
Comfortable with it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
good.
think this is implicitly a condition, but should you go forward with the short-term rentals, you would need to be adhering to the ordinance, everything outlined in that section, so.
We've been shut down on short-term rentals since the beginning of January when they
Yes,
placed
sir.
the sign in the driveway.
I'm aware of that, yes,
Okay,
sir.
good.
So,
Right now, it's a full-term, I've got full-time renters in it right now, just so y'all know, if you do a drive-by. He's renting it for his employees.
okay, thank you.
And he's the potential buyer.
Okay. All right, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, let's move to a roll call vote.
Roll call, Commissioner Hall,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelina,
Aye.
Chairman Rigsby,
Aye.
Commissioner Byers.
Aye.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate your time today.
Thanks for y'all's time. Appreciate you, Alex.
There's, I think there's probably something that you need to
Paperwork, I'm
sign.
sure to sign.
Yeah, out there, here, without Kristen.
All right,
I'm on, where would we go sign?
that is the end of our quasi judicial hearing. We're going to move to our new business. 7A, review discussion of future land use map included in the comprehensive plan.
Do I need to sign anything?
I see that Lynn's on. At one point, we asked the folks from Able City if they would be able to join. Are they able to join or no?
They did state, Sam from Able City, Haas, did state that he was gonna try to make the meeting via Zoom, and, he has not, been on yet.
Okay.
I can give him a phone call, see if he's
Negative
available.
points for Able Cities in my book then, he promised. And it's not even 6 PM like he was worried about. Okay, well, let's get into it. Without their guidance, I'm going to rely on staff to help us kind of work through this and the best practices, because we haven't done this. I guess from this meeting, Alex, for you and Chris and whoever else, is the goal to say like, hey, these are the 5 categories that we want, these are some general directions? Like, are we trying to get to a full plan? What would you want to get
So
from
yes,
this?
your first statement was where we see this. Coming to some consensus about the future land use categories, and not necessarily the determining exactly where those apply within the village. So what Able City did provide to us would be that they have a map, which we have a larger version on the table here if it needs to be consulted. But that map that was included in there, those areas are illustrative, so you have an understanding of where those may apply, and so they should be fairly well known to the commissioners, so that you can have in your mind to say, does that match up with what that area that they're describing in there? And for us to come to a consensus on if we are able, as to if we like the suggestions of the categories that have been provided, and then also to give guidance, direction on the suggested name for what that land use category would be, and then to be comfortable with the language that they provide to describe that future land use category.
Okay, sounds good. And so there's 9 potential categories that we should discuss?
Yeah,
I
optional.
saw.
Yes,
Yeah.
there are 9.
Okay.
And I guess the overall purpose is just to provide planning and zoning in the village for just overall guidance to if somebody wants to change from this particular zone to another in this zone, that makes sense or that doesn't. You know, like say you have a just wide example, preservation zone, and someone wants to make it heavy industrial.
Yeah, I think it's a combination
Correct.
of that, and I go and I'm looking to see where path of progress is so I can do a mixed-use development. Like, I'm not gonna buy mixed use in
Preservation area or something.
preservation area or the purple heavy industrial, right, or whatever they would call that. I might buy it in the yellow and the blue as an example, I think.
Yes,
Is
that is correct. And then also, again, as was mentioned, it would serve as another piece of evidence, guidance toward if there were zoning changes that would come before the Planning Commission Council in the future, that this would be the consensus roadmap on how the village is going to develop and redevelop over the next 20 years.
Okay.
Again, to remind anybody who may also be watching this, this is not zoning changes that are being considered right now. These would just be potential future land use discussions in order to help to set the vision through the comprehensive plan of the future of the village.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not a.
Correct.
Legally binding.
Exactly. And even, with the assumption that this is, that there is a future land use map included in the comprehensive plan. Again, it does not guarantee any zone changes. It just, I would say again, that it is a piece to be considered by future planning commissions and councils.
And it's mapping out preferences, basically.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
And it looks like Sam joined us.
Hey guys,
Hello.
thanks for.
Hi.
I was watching on YouTube. I'm sorry, I must have missed the Zoom link or something, but I'm glad I could be here.
You heard me bad-mouthing you, and that's why you should have.
I did. I said I have to prove him wrong.
Yeah. I'm eating my hat right now, so I'm glad you're here. Anything you would add, Sam, that you've seen from other communities to the overview that Alex gave? I think he did a good job of giving us an overview, but.
Yeah, I think Alex did a great job. One thing I don't want us to get really hung up on where these examples are right now. I think what we need to focus on is the narrative, the actual language. Once we get the categories and we're comfortable with how they're described, even the names of them, right? We can then future exercises, we can start putting these on the map and we can start figuring out where these go on the map. But I think basically what we want to know is are these categories sufficient? Do we need more? Do we need less? Do some need tweaking? So this is just kind of a first draft.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I guess speaking at the highest level, I know that we could probably select any number of categories that we want. For some reason, 9 feels like a lot for our community. So I don't know if you would I think some of the examples you gave, anywhere between 5 and 6, is that pretty standard, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, under 10 for even the biggest communities, honestly. I mean, the really big cities tend to have a lot, but for a community of Ruidosa's size, I don't think 9 is necessary. Really, the idea was to give you too many, and so you can eliminate enough. It's better to have too many and not need them than not have enough and need more. So feel free to cut some. Thinks that's we don't need that. That's fine.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I may suggest, for example, if you wish to perhaps combine some categories, Category 1, which is a bit of a conservation district with limited development, and then if you would go toward the very end of the document, the Category 9, the preservation districts, whether those are similar enough to combine those into a single type of district that really says we need to be I'll use the word cautious when it comes to developing those areas and give extra consideration toward how those areas are developed or if they are set aside for preservation or no development due to physical characteristics, whether it is the steep slopes, whether it is being flood prone,
Like one-way canyon that you can't get out the backside
or-
of?
Right, or
where I
something like
live.
that, along those, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Death Canyon?
Hey, let's not use language like that, please. Okay, I think that that's fair. I think, I like the idea of whether you call it a preservation or conservation area. I view that as a category where it's like, there are limitations within the physical landscaping, to your point, Alex. Although it is a little bit different, like the category 9 feels it's because of the fires and floodings that it exists. But I do think the intent is the same, like we don't need heavy density in those areas for a number of reasons, or would be cautious about it.
And then also combining in number 8, which are in some ways largely our already public lands, whether they are village or village-owned properties, or whether they are owned by Forest Service or another entity that's holding them for non-development or for those public uses or shared uses. That may also be something that we would perhaps consider, putting in that same category, or if we put them separately, just to be sure that we are not, again, covering either too much or getting the right level of specificity on this map to designate, perhaps this is something that we just designate as public lands, parks, recreation areas, and future current trail corridors.
Okay, I like that. So you're recommending we basically combined the grindstone area with the ball field areas that have been identified? Category 5, is that the one?
Yeah.
Outdoor economy districts, if you will. You guys like that idea? Combining blue and blue,
Blue and blue.
the blues together? Just for a category, I mean, they can have different,
Blues,
the grindstone blue and then the Eagle Ball Field blues and the, basically to say like, hey, these are areas where folks recreate outdoors. Maybe you can have a concert there for a temporary use, maybe there are ball fields there, maybe you have trails.
yeah, it makes more sense to
Yeah, category,
combine
yeah,
those two.
the blues, yeah.
Outdoor
Yeah,
recreation. Go ahead, Ron.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so 5 and 8 would become one category.
yeah.
And then,
Can I ask the commission a question?
That would be great, yes.
So in category 5, there are some residential uses that would be allowed in a, limited and a secondary capacity. Do you think that that is permissible in something like category 8 around the Grindstone Lake area?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I'm trying not to get hung up on what's already there.
Sure.
Because there are some, what you would consider, what we have here is, what's it called? Alpine living or forested hamlets. Like, there is a neighborhood on top of the,
ridge above.
yeah.
Right.
Alfred Hale Ridge or whatever that ridge is. So there's already, I think, an element of that.
Okay.
And I don't think it would be like, if you look at specifically Grindstone, or if you look down by Two Rivers, that's another area that could be considered like recreational use. There's already residential homes in that neck of the woods.
Okay. Okay.
Granted, not many, but.
So I think when it comes to like civic, do we need to separate civic functions? Libraries, parks, village hall, things like that. Or could we just incorporate that into whatever neighborhood categories we think they're appropriate in? I guess the kind of the 30,000-foot question is like, do we think that there's a need to separate civic and open space, or is the village comfortable with just incorporating it into, other land uses?
I think I'll start with that. I think we may end up having a current land use map that would show those things, and then I think we would be comfortable if in the future land use map, I think having those just a part of whatever district, not district, but whatever land use category that they fall in, that it would be just in part of that.
I think we already, yeah, maybe I'm on the same page as you, Alex. I think we already have some of that.
Yeah.
Like the two, if you do a zoom out and look at our village, like two of the biggest land areas are Cream Meadows and the Links. And the Links is already kind of the open space civic engagement. It's tied in with the White Mountain Complex, which is civic use, and then it's right butted up to residential. So maybe you could make the argument that like we already have some of that and are comfortable. I mean, we're here at Village Hall, and across the street is somebody's house. They could walk into that space. So I think I don't think they need to be distinctly separate.
Okay, cool. Noted.
And there's a good question from Bart, like he's talking about, and maybe this is where, Sam, you could do another discussion, because I don't know if you were here when we met with Sam previously.
I was not.
So think of this as like path of progress, if you will. Even though right now, the green area is R1 for Upper Canyon and people own those private homes. What do we want it to see as we go through the comprehensive plan? Not necessarily what it is today, but like what it could be. Or if you go and buy, like there's 40 acres above my house in Upper Canyon. Like, should I go and buy that 40 acre and try to push for a dozen condo complexes up there? Probably not, because as we look at the future land use map, maybe that's not the best way to use that. And we're not indicating to investors or people that that's what they should do. Does that make sense? This is just like, hey, directionally, this is what we're thinking. But there is the reality that Alex put together, like, we have a land use map that's very specific by the parcel of what you can and can't do. And this is not to supersede it, but to give you a directional guidance.
A wish list.
A wish list, like, hey, if you're looking to put in a shopping complex with residential above, the very tail end of Upper Canyon maybe not be advised for that.
Right.
But, on Cream Meadows behind, and these are just examples, behind Midtown, that might be a good idea. Or in the what do you call it, the mountain core, or the old mill district, like, some of this is just floodplain. But some of this maybe could be redeveloped into whatever, more dense with market, commercial or whatever. Does that make sense? Does that help?
Yeah.
Sam, I don't know if you would add anything to that, because Bart wasn't here when we had this discussion last
Yeah,
time.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, honestly. I mean, the future land use map is what it says it is. I mean, people are going to come in, they're going to buy property, they're not going to like the zoning that they have, they're going to want to zone change it to something that they want to do, and then it's up to y'all to decide whether or not that fits the direction the vision of the community, and the future land use map is a tool for that. And, it informs your decisions on specific use permits and things like that. So really it is a long range vision. And, I should note that it's, you can make amendments to it as well. I mean, it's not set in stone. So.
And in the last plan, we didn't have this.
As the last plan, we did not have.
Did not have it.
Okay, that's what I thought, that's why.
And I think it would be helpful, so that way when folks come to us, we can specifically reference when there's a rezoning application, what does the comprehensive plan say?
Yeah.
Are we trying to put logging in the middle of, Second Street? Probably not.
Well, I was thinking an asphalt plant right next to Bart's house.
There we go.
And to build a little bit on that, there are certain states and certain jurisdictions that we can also, if the commission feels that it is warranted, and the community as well, I shouldn't say and the community as well, if the community feels it's warranted, there are places where before a zoning change may be considered that is incompatible with the future land use map, there needs to be discussion, public hearing, and a determination to amend that future land use map. So that may be another tool that we can also layer into process-wise, just to be sure that everybody's, I shouldn't say it, but that there is additional step in place so that we have compatibility between the future land use map and zoning decisions. But that again is
So it'd be in
another
addition
thing.
to.
In addition to,
In
yes.
addition to the, hey, I want to rezone parcel A to this would kind of be a guidance before that if it was, or,
Right. It would be a discussion around, so we say that it's, theoretically, it's a area that would fall in, let's just say, to be mostly single-family residential, whatever category, land use category that becomes, and they wish to do some mixed-use project in there. The first step before a zoning case would be consideration to amend the future land use designation.
well, I guess
with that, yeah.
I'm not looking to create like more permitting steps or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I would think it would just be, if that was the case, that would be part of the parcel that we would get when the zoning.
Right, and I'm just putting that out there
It wouldn't be a separate meeting and.
as how other communities do use their comprehensive plan future land use map to.
Yeah, I just wasn't looking for another
Yeah.
step.
To first of
Yeah.
all require that to happen, yeah.
And I should note that, you know, when comp plans get adopted, people aren't trying to amend them within it usually takes 10 years or so before they start amending them. Like, okay, well, maybe the community's changed enough that we need to start looking at our future land use map to see if it's still, applicable. It's not like somebody's going to come around and do it right away. But it is something that cities use. I mean, it is in the right of a property owner to challenge the comprehensive plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went through the process as we were talking, and I got us to, with the combinations that Alex recommended, the feedback that you gave, I think I have it 6-ish categories.
Okay, what do you got? What you got?
The first one is what we described, which would be combining some of the areas where like Upper Canyon, the other area that was burned on the other side of Perk, Camelot side, or the other side of the Y that's really steep that hasn't been developed, or even kind of by Camelot on the backside where it's really steep. The conservation homesteads, which is just low-density
Low-density homes.
low-density R1 that kind of interfaces with national forest in a lot of ways.
National forest or the industrial corridor.
Yeah, exactly, that are kind of,
That makes sense.
so that's one that I have. The other one is what we talked about, outdoor recreation / civic areas. So think Grindstone, think Eagle Ball Fields, think around the links, which can still be Alto Lake,
Ball fields up there.
The other one I have is regional corridor, which think the Y,
Highway 70,
essentially, Highway 70 or down to,
down to the downs.
and then I have, this is Sam's branding, Alpine Living. So this is less dense, think White Mountain Estates, White Mountain Meadows. Those are 3/4 to an acre lots or half acre above. So the less dense parts. And then I have Pine to Path. I liked that. That was again branding that Able City came up with. Those are communities or neighborhoods closer to the core. They use the example of Cree Meadows, but like the lower part of your neighborhood as it gets closer to Meacham, Second Street, First Street as it gets close to the circle.
Yeah.
Where people are, the lots are smaller, there's more dense folks. That's what I had. And then the final one was Old Mill or the Village Core.
No, and I think.
Meacham to.
I think you still need to have the industrial though, because we.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Because you've got Ag Tech out there, you've got the Village Asphalt plant out there. That can be that little back up there behind Walgreens and all that over to the Downs.
Yeah.
It's a small area, but you need to have it because that, I think, as I said, you may want to have another asphalt plant or another concrete plant at some point.
Yeah, I could almost see us combining regional corridor and.
With the industrial, but
That's how
see,
they are.
the industrial to me is, from my old zoning from in Georgia, M2 is heavy industrial.
Yeah.
It's concrete manufacturing, could be a kiln, could be an asphalt plant. That's a little different than the regional. I think when we were looking at the corridor, we were thinking more of
Big box, yeah.
big box type potential, like Walmart, instead of it being, in the Downs, if BJ Wholesale's wanted to come up, somewhere on 70, that type thing. So not, like, that's why there's a distinction to me from, just in my past life experience, that industrial implies a much more intense use and,
Yeah, I don't know in the village limits if we have many other locations that I would.
No, I mean, no, that unless you want to consider something like that out at the airport,
Right, true.
I
Which
mean,
we already kind of are in some regard to
Well-
the plant.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Heavy industrial should be out towards that direction. And
Yeah. I know some folks
Yeah,
will not like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
I will just, include that it's not just industrial, it's also resource extracting, logistics, warehousing, things like that. Job generators that require large sites, specialized infrastructure, things like that.
I would fit the airport
Yeah. And it would fit back there, I mean,
back in that, yeah.
ag tech area. So then I guess we have 7. And there could be an argument that you could combine the conservation homesteads with the alpine living, but I think the line that I draw there is like alpine living is buildable or more buildable. There's inherent limitations with the conservation homesteads.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've had, like I said, a number of those areas, we've had variance because of the topography, and those areas are generally topographically challenged for builders. Even Bart would probably struggle on those.
And I do understand why they were initially broken out, but I think that's where the floodplain comes in. Because like, you're gonna have a hard time building right next to the river ever again, in certain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
But on top of Perk Ridge, or not Perk Ridge, but the other one next to it, you could, in theory, build a road up there, up this way where Redwood is. But it would be very
in theory.
steep. I mean, they already kind of have a little bit, but. I don't know, Ron, do you have any feedback, Ron, thoughts?
Well, even talking about Upper Canyon, I mean, I think there's, that's a place we're gonna have to keep less dense. Probably rechange the bridges out there, get them all, I'm thinking infrastructure maybe wouldn't support a whole lot of growth up there.
Right.
You were saying about the 40 acres, I mean, I don't think that's one where we want to put in 2 acres or 2 houses per acre.
No.
So,
I
I think a lot of this will be determined by what comes in front of us.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's even a distinction between, like, past the second bridge for Upper Canyon. Like, that is very
Right.
clearly conservation in my opinion. But when you cluster around the circle, like, that's almost pines to path, if you will. Because there's
Yeah.
so many different commercial buildings down there. There's, those old cabins, Dandy Cabins and Storybook and all those folks down there.
Well, if things go well, they will have on the agenda the engineering phase of replacing all the 08 bridges, the rest of them.
I heard that from Levi today. I believe Levi.
Replacing all of them?
What's it, yeah, as going to the next phase of, the council will have to approve the engineering study cost to get to the point of actually designing them to do what had been requested since ~08. Because the 2 bridges that survived were different type bridges. So, and they're looking to get all of them to be, at least the engineering phase of it. I mean, it's
It's a step forward, and
it's a step forward.
Oh.
It may not happen in our lifetimes, but it's a step forward. But yeah, no, I think, as I said, I guess it's, I guess at some point, just gotta figure out where to draw the boundaries and how do we want, generally, how do we want to do that, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, that's where that's to me, gets to be kind of where the nut of it is. You know, where is that exact boundary? I mean, the general descriptions we've got and the ones we've pared down, I think are great. It's now, you know, who draws it? Does Able City draw that? Does the staff draw that? What's the next step that you envision, Alex, to getting this?
We, the staff, will work with Able City to come up with a draft of a future land use map that will get down to a granular parcel level
Okay,
so that people
So
can
you
have an
work with them.
understanding of where those lines are.
okay. And would we have, I'm assuming since it wants to go in a comprehensive plan, we'd have to have it before June? Is that the case, or?
That is sort of our current target date of when we were looking to have a complete draft done with that, so. And we are glad to, again, bring more conversation to you if you want to weigh in on this. We also do have our Blue Ribbon Panel, our steering committee as well, that has about 24 people in there. They will be meeting with Able City every month going forward until we have a draft ready to go. So they will also be a sounding board for this effort.
yeah, I think,
Go ahead, Eric.
I love the idea in that path. I do think before we get it to the sounding board, because we want to get their feedback, if we could get a copy or a general direction to us, I don't think we need it down to the parcel level. Because again, this is not a zoning map, but just like, you know, from here to here, roughly here to here, yada, yada. So instead of circles, maybe it's squares
Yeah,
on lines or whatever.
just make the polygons inside the village limits of the
Yeah.
different areas.
And I will, of course, look to Sam to see if that works and how they are also looking for this to move forward. I would also say that doing it also as what I would call a bubble map in regard to not specific down to parcels, but just generally distributed through the area, that we would be able to
No,
do
you
that.
mean not actually put the
Yeah.
bound, but
Yeah.
better coverage of the
Better
areas.
coverage, yeah.
Okay, I can go for that.
Yeah, that's fine, some shading.
Yeah, saves a little bit of work, just gotta adjust the radius of the circle.
Yeah, and I think just the reason why I want to get that in front of us before the Blue Ribbon Committee is because they don't have the context, well, unless one of you guys or somebody else on the commission is they don't have the context of what we see when people are trying to apply
Yeah.
for their site plans, for their, rezones, et cetera.
Zones, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that this particular part of the comprehensive plan is y'all's domain.
Yeah.
So, that's why, we're having this workshop here. And as far as timeline goes, so what I had anticipated is that we workshop this, which we did. And so let me just see if I got the gist of it here. So
Yep.
we're combining 1 and 9
Yep.
as conservation homestead.
Yeah, I like
correct?
that. Preservation districts,
Or preservation district, okay.
conservation homestead sounds fancier to me, but.
Well, it doesn't, you're not ruling out homesteads where when you throw that label of preservation, people get you can't change it type thing, and that's not the case for
Right,
land
true.
uses. So, I know it's just a word, but
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
conservation homestead is I think that's a good term.
yeah, I think that's generally it. And that's, intended, you can develop there, but there shouldn't be a lot of high density
Yeah.
in those areas. Whether that's because of the physical land, because you literally cannot build because you'll wash down the river, et cetera.
Okay. And then category 2, we're keeping, we liked the alpine living.
Yeah, I like
Didn't
that. I don't know.
We
if
didn't
you
like
guys-
my neighborwoods.
The
neighborhoods pun.
neighborhoods is good. I like it. It's, maybe it doesn't,
Well, we'll stick with alpine living.
I don't know. For me.
And then
Neighborhood.
category 3, pine and path, is that what we're thinking there?
I like that one, but Or mountain neighborhoods is fine, but I like either one of those.
Everyone else on the commission, are they okay with that, or do they
Yeah.
have a preference towards any other? Okay.
No, yeah, that makes sense, because I think some of the connectivity they want to do with trails would fit into that
Right.
type.
Right.
I know that's on Matt's list of, he wants to get things connected. Okay,
Yeah.
fine and path,
Okay. And then we have Village Court.
yeah.
Village
We
core,
are-
I like the old mill district, but that's just because it's a tie back to,
Billy the Kid and
yeah,
his founding of the village.
right. Village core just seems corporate, but
Well, this is y'all's future land use map. Would you like to use Old Mill District?
Oh, sure, yeah, because the
Thank you.
mill's there, yeah.
the mill, from the mill to Meacham, you know?
Mill's
There you
there.
go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I like it. So we're combining category 5 and 8 to have some overlap.
What is 5 again?
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Outdoor
and then-
economy, what did I call it? Outdoor recreation civic areas.
Okay. Okay, and then regional corridor we liked.
Yep.
And then for category 7, so we have resource district, industrial employment areas. What are we thinking in terms of the nomenclature here?
that's, let's see, yeah.
We can just call it industrial too. Like, it doesn't have to be creative.
Yeah. Yeah, industrial, I think, works.
Industrial employment areas, that's fine. That's what I have written down.
Okay.
Okay, so
It's got it.
I'm hoping that, so our goal is to probably get this down on a map as best as we think works. Again, it'll be a draft, so you guys feel free to mark it up. Hopefully be able to provide that by the next Planning and Zoning Commission meeting in March. Does that sound okay, Alex?
Yes.
That sounds swell.
Okay, and then we'll just have another workshop. I will be here, I promise. And we can work through it again.
Sounds great.
Okay,
Appreciate that. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
yeah.
All right, let's, Sam, I think we got a good path here, so I appreciate that. We'll move to the next agenda point. You're welcome to stick around, or you could probably drop if you got other things.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
I will leave. Thank you, Commission. It was nice being here. Good seeing you guys again.
Good seeing you.
Sam.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's move to community development report. Alex, Chris, anything?
So very quickly, we continue to make progress with our short-term rental implementation in the way of, I guess, not necessarily, and also we have for the next week, we will have a second consideration by council for the revocation of a short-term rental for the use of a fire pit. We'll see how that goes on next week. We have, with the short-term rental program, we got the demo of the internal inspection portal for us to use. We are very hopeful that will make our efforts more efficient in regard to being able for our inspector to have a cell phone and be able to do an inspection with using that as well. So we are, again,
I don't know, is it just inputting information, or what is? what are they-
it will be ticking boxes in that as they're out on site and doing that. And then
So they are
also
gonna be on site. They will go on site to
for the inspection, oh, yes, yep.
So instead of filling out- yeah,
Thank you for that clarifying question, because I'm now following where you went. We're not going to be doing inspections via Zoom camera or via cell phone camera. Thank you for that. And yes, our inspector will still be going on site.
Yeah.
But they will be hopefully be using a cell phone in order to do the data entry part of that. And then integrate it directly into our software for record keeping. And then being able to provide back to an applicant, property owner, if there are some issues that need to be addressed with photos, as well, saying that these are the things that need to be addressed.
So it's kind of like a handheld version of the reporting when you have issues with the short-term rental where you can upload photos and that type of
Yes.
stuff, but it's
Yes.
just got different.
Yeah. we did that. And then we also continue to be able to match up properties that are already permitted with owners and to get that correct. And then also, from the lodger's tax perspective, getting all of the management companies aligned with their appropriate properties and getting lodger's tax that has been submitted the previous way with the paper forms and checks, getting that processed as well.
The situation today, was that, did we discover they wanted a short-term rental because of the software, or they were just coming through for a routine renewal?
Which, the appeal today?
Yeah, the appeal. How
So
did,
that came up, and again, like I said, I was not here 3 years ago.
Right,
so
right.
yeah, so they came forward this summer looking to get licensed, to
Gotcha.
get the
Okay.
permit.
so not,
With that
I
said,
was wondering
yeah.
if the software flagged one of the.
No, it did
How
not.
close are we to sending out the 30-day get your butt in gear letters?
So until we get a level of comfort that we will not have so many letters sent out in error, we're not going to do that.
I understand
yeah.
until, can we quantify until, or?
Well, yes, yeah, and I don't know that we can. I would say where we are right now is, if we've got a year through the process of implementing the new ordinance, so we're aiming toward probably another month before doing that. But there may, but we will also, in our next weekly update with Deckard, we will ask how confident they are in getting things.
Yeah.
squared
No,
away.
I get it.
Or if they would provide us, like they showed during the demonstration, if they would provide us, and they may not be able to do this, knowing how the data that they were provided in regard to our existing permits. But when they showed, that they've scrubbed the internet and seen these advertisements, that
Yeah,
if they
how do they
can't,
correlate?
if they cannot hook them up to a property that is licensed, but we may not be there just yet.
Well, they should be able to do that, I would think. I would press them on that.
Yeah, and that's why I said, we will be confirming that
'Cause I
with
mean,
them in our
that's the
meeting
thing
this
is
week.
is that first step is get
Yep.
to the point where you have everybody to choose to be in compliance or not, and then you go from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has there been, so the only two revocations we've had potentially were from fire pits. Do you have a number of complaints? Do you have?
I believe we are still in the single digits when it comes to complaints coming in through the portal, and in regard to the over-occupancy parking noise, in that none of them have reached to the point where they become informally a strike, a violation, that could potentially, once you get 3 of those, none of those have been determined to be a violation. At this point, again, would encourage everybody, if they have a issue with a short-term rental, 575-315-8354, to give a call to that.
Number 575.
Yep.
What is it?
315-8354.
And that goes to the consolidated dispatch for,
No, that goes to the Deckard line. That is Deckard. That is that's our software provider that is answering that
That's what
number.
gets you that documentation.
Correct.
In the ordinance, so you get.
Correct.
one
That's,
when you
yeah.
They call the property manager or whatever, and then they have the timeline of the response.
But and then so the other part with, as the 2 situations we've had with the fire pits, both of those were called in through the non-emergency dispatch number with that. In order for us to, I guess, sort of, and we do get those cards and we get those from dispatch.
okay.
But in order to, I guess, to solidify our process, we're also, dispatch is as available, encouraging people that call in that regard. They will send, if it's, example, if it is a fire pit, they will make sure they dispatch fire and/or police to the site to take care of that, but then encourage people to call the Deckard line to be sure that it is yeah, coming
think
to
we
us
need to do
more
a
quickly.
better job of communicating that, because I've got some neighbors say, well, I called the cops because they were having a party at 10 o'clock, and I go, yeah, that's good, but given the resources they have, it's better, you got to call the cops, and unless you get that documented record back to you at some point, sometime, it's not documented as a potential strike issue, because generally, if you've got a party house, the thing with Deckard, you call them, and I had an issue with, I was one of those single complaints, but it was a parking issue, was you call them, they document it, they make the calls. If it isn't resolved in the time frame in the ordinance, it becomes a strike, but the documentation's there. If you just call non-emergency dispatch or the police, that doesn't get
Right.
into the Deckard system.
Yeah, I don't think the word's getting out there that Decker even exists to the general public.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because like I said, it worked for me. Like I said, my personal one was I came home from Thanksgiving after 16 hours of airline and had, 3 cars parked in my driveway from a short-term rental. But I, went on the website, took pictures, I had to go out and do stuff. It was settled. The point of using Deckard is to get the problems resolved. That's what we want. I mean, we don't want to necessarily generate strikes. You want the problem solved.
Right, yeah, solve the problem.
So, but if you go through non-emergency dispatch or, now certainly if it's 911, you can call that, but I mean,
The other thing with the Deckard, it also, because of the process that is set up, it notifies the local contact and/or the property owner that there is an issue there. And gives them an opportunity and adds a resource to get issues resolved with that. My last, 2 more things. As of last week, there has been a code enforcement officer transferred from the police department to community development. Chris Kelly is working with that, so we are going to be much more responsive, more diligent in getting things done. As Ms. McGlasson had indicated, we are also making efforts toward enforcement. Shouldn't say necessarily enforcement because it's about the compliance, it's more important. But we have made efforts with compliance on 100 No-Gal. There is a pending court hearing next week in regard to 100 No-Gal in order to bring them into compliance. And then also the 116 No-Gal, we are also notifying that property owner that they need to register through the vacant building program. And if there are additional needs that are identified through that process, they will need to comply with all of those things in there. And then if we need to go the next step, we can then identify whether it is through court enforcement or if this is an appropriate property for the village to invest clean and lean funds in order to abate the situation.
Okay, thank you.
With that. And then lastly, want to acknowledge the service of Commissioner Williams on the board. She has submitted her resignation. And there will be, to my understanding, a appointment of a new member at the council meeting next week as well.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
good to know. I was going to say thank you to Vicky as well.
Yeah, thank you.
She served, I think, how long have you been on? 6 years?
More than that.
I don't know how long she's been on planning and zoning. I mean, I've been on
She
3.
hadn't been on as long as I, although I think she served 2 different times.
Oh, did she?
Okay.
I think so.
Did a lot.
Yeah, her insights were always made you think, and I like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
I'll miss that.
agreed.
yeah.
Question for community development, 603 Meacham, how are we looking?
So the weather last week, it is drying out. There were a number of trees that were brought down, or branches that were brought down. There was some minor damage to one of the storage units and to, I believe, not the new fencing, but just the existing fencing that was around one of the existing cabins, and also separating from the property to the west, I believe, in that. So there was work going on there today as well to I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I know that prior to the snow event last week, the fencing contractor is on site getting ready to do the safety fencing around each of the pads as well. So those are in progress. But it really is a situation of hopefully things will start to dry out and get the final push.
Okay. Who's running that project now? It was Levi, but he's got a big promotion.
Bianca Vega, our capital projects manager.
Okay.
I believe that's her title.
Sounds good. All right. Any other questions for community development?
No,
Nope, I'm good.
Any other?
Thunderbird in Midtown.
yeah, where's the graffiti?
Thank you for the question on that. Zach Cook is meeting with their attorney, to my understanding. He is meeting with them yet this week to discuss that. We have had one or more contractors come into Village Hall to investigate the process possibility of getting a demolition permit for that building as well. So we may end up getting, instead of just abatement of the graffiti, the building removed. There was, when the fire happened, there was a evaluation that was done, and it was not deemed to be structurally unsound with that. So that we anticipate seeing some movement on that property soon.
Cool.
Okay.
And again, from my understanding of that, if it may be a case where the village council would use that through the Clean and Lean program to either just abate the graffiti or,
That's a start.
yes, yeah. I would anticipate it would just be the graffiti removal and not the complete removal of the building.
Since that is in 3862/-9. It is an owner responsibility.
I move we adjourn.
I'm good with all that. If there's no other comments or anything else, we can adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right,
See you,
We are
Ron.
adjourned.
See you, Ron.
take care, buddy. See you guys.
Enjoy the prison food.
Hey, you be nice.
Huntsville's a tough place.
Maybe you just saw that he looked like he was wearing an orange jumpsuit.
That's kind of why I said it, but, also, just to, all right, hopefully I left my cell phone in the car. I don't see it here, so.
Can I record, you got the second for the motion to adjourn?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. We'll get some shut-eye and then off to Tucson.
You going to go talk rocks?
Yes, for about a week.
That's exciting. I'm to Vegas next
Go
week.
to Tucson, Gem and Mineral Show.
Oh, thank you,
Me
Chris.
and
Great work.
250,000 of my closest friends.
Oh, my gosh.
It's insane. They've got one venue on 22nd Street. It's probably, let's see, I'm trying to think.
Did we
Width
end the
wise,
meeting?
half a
Did we end the
football
meeting?
field. It's a big tent enclosure, goes for a mile. So there's probably 1,000 plus dealers in that one venue.
Oh, wow.
There's 10 venues throughout the city.
Wow.
Yeah, it's